Plants versus animals. So by the end of this reading, you should be able to answer this question. How do plants defend themselves against herbivores? Plants feed the world. For plants, the world is a dangerous place. Plants make energy from the sun, and billions of hungry plant-eating creatures, or herbivores, get energy by eating plants. Like other producers, plants are at the bottom of many food chains. Everything from tiny mites to huge elephants eats plants. How do plant species survive? So here I have a tiny spider mite puncturing a leaf to suck out the juices, and here we have a giant African elephant that can eat up to 200 kilograms or 440 pounds of plants every day. A lot. Plants are rooted in one place, so they can't run away and hide. Instead, they have other ways of defending themselves against herbivores. Plants have direct forms of protection. These forms include physical structures and chemicals that deter herbivores. Plants also defend themselves in indirect ways. They get help from the natural enemies of the herbivore. Did you know there's more than 300,000 species of plants on Earth? All right. So let's look at some of these defenses, the ways that plants defend themselves. Physical defenses. Anyone who has walked in the woods knows about the many thorns and prickles found on plants. These are direct forms of protection. Rose plants and cacti have large thorns to repel large herbivores such as deer. Tomato plants have thin hairs or trichomes that make it hard for smaller herbivores to eat them. Sharp trichomes on bean plants can trap insect herbivores by stabbing their feet. Other trichomes are poisonous, such as those of stinging nettle plants. Raphides are needle-shaped crystals found inside the leaves of many plants. Raphides can irritate an herbivore's skin. These small crystals can also scratch the herbivore's throat, resulting in painful stinging. Kiwi fruit plants and agaves have raphides for defense. So plants can have thorns, right? These bigger spikes. These trichomes are the smaller spikes that keep smaller insects out. And then even inside the leaves, you have these raphides. These you see these like really sharp needle-like things that will rip up an herbivore's throat, and maybe they won't eat it the next time. What other plants do? Other plants use waxy leaves as a defense. Slippery wax makes it difficult for caterpillars and other climbing insects to keep a foothold on the leaves. Magnolia and eucalyptus trees have waxy leaves to keep hungry plant eaters away. And you can see here the magnolia's waxy leaves are slippery to discourage insect herbivores, to keep them away. Some plants, such as passion flowers, have small structures that look like insect eggs. Female butterflies are less likely to lay eggs on leaves that already appear to have eggs. They know that eggs hatch and turn into hungry herbivores. If there are already eggs and caterpillars on a plant, there may not be enough food to feed their own young, so they lay their eggs somewhere else. So you can see here, this passion flower has these like fake looking eggs on it. So a butterfly is going to come along and say, oh, someone already laid their eggs there. I'm going to go somewhere else. Pretty smart. So those are the physical defenses, right? The things that plants can physically do to their structure. What about chemical defenses? Let's see. Chemical defenses are another form of direct protection. Many plants make chemicals to help repair injuries caused by munching herbivores. Some plants also make chemicals that taste bad to a plant eater. Herbivores remember the bad taste of the chemicals and may avoid eating the plant in the future. So that makes sense, right? If something doesn't taste good, you're not going to eat it. Some plants, right here, have special cells called ideoblasts, in their leaves. These cells produce chemicals for defense and also contain needle-sharp raphides. The prick from the raphides causes pain. Then the chemicals cause even more pain. This defense keeps herbivores from eating too much of the plant. Poison ivy and sedum are two of the many plant species that contain ideoblasts. So sedum plants have idioplast cells with raphides, so double, right? Chemicals and razor-sharp raphides. Did you know caffeine is a chemical called an alkaloid? It is made in nature by coffee and tea plants to repel herbivore attacks. But it doesn't repel me. I like to drink lots of coffee. Here we go. Plants such as citrus trees and mint make oils that repel insects. You may enjoy these smells, but the fresh scent of mint, as well as lemons, oranges, and other citrus fruits, keep many insects away. In Africa, some antelopes eat the leaves of acacia trees. As soon as the antelope starts eating these leaves, the tree produces a bad tasting chemical called tannin K. This chemical also makes the antelope sick by interfering with its digestion. Just 15 minutes after an herbivore starts eating acacia leaves, the amount of tannin doubles. You can bet that the antelope will eat something else next time. So I guess it just becomes more and more and more poisonous the more you eat, right? All right. Moving on. Detecting the herbivore. Plants don't have brains or sense organs, yet they still know when an herbivore attacks. Some plants can detect the vibrations created when an herbivore is munching. The Thale cress plant produces mustard oil when it hears caterpillars chewing. The caterpillars don't like the taste of mustard oil, so they stop eating the plant, obviously. In addition to making bad tasting chemicals when herbivores attack, African acacia trees use chemicals to warn other plants in the area. These trees release chemicals into the air when an herbivore starts eating. This warning signal tells other acacia trees that herbivores are in the area. The other trees release bad tasting chemicals before they're even munched on. So these trees can actually talk to each other. Hey, I'm getting eaten. You guys start making your chemicals. Pretty cool. Calling all predators. The other way plants defend themselves is with indirect protection, so not direct. They enlist help from friends. Plants can use chemicals to attract predators of insect herbivores. The plants release chemicals into the air that flying insects can detect. These insects then fly to the plant and kill the plant eaters, thus protecting the plant. So instead of just sending out chemicals that make an insect stop eating the plant, they can actually send out chemicals that say, hey, you predatory wasp, come help me, there's caterpillars eating me, right? So then the predatory wasps come and they eat the caterpillars and save the plant. Wild tobacco plants often get covered with caterpillars that eat nonstop. In response, the tobacco plant releases a chemical that attracts wasps. These wasps are predators of the caterpillars. The wasps eat the caterpillars or lay eggs in them. After a few days, the wasp eggs hatch, killing the caterpillars. Plant problem solved. So here it says, number 1, plant detects an herbivore. Number 2, the plant releases airborne chemicals. Number 3, the predator of the herbivore is attracted to the plant. And number 4, the predator attacks the herbivore. So instead of just sending out chemicals to make the herbivore stop eating the plant, they send out chemicals that attract these predators to come eat the herbivore. Pretty clever. All right, last section. I gotta move this a little bit. All right, helpful house guests. Some plants attract help by providing a shelter and food for natural enemies of the herbivore. Macaranga trees have hollow spaces in some of their branches. These spaces are ideal places for some ant species to live. When a caterpillar begins munching on a tree, surprise, the ants come out of the stem. They attack the caterpillars and protect them. So you can see here, ants emerge from a small hole in the Macaranga tree branch. You see the hole, and the ants actually live in here. And if an herbivore starts eating this plant, these ants can come out and attack the herbivore to get it away. Similarly, some acacia trees have thorns that are hollow at the base. Ants live in these hollow structures. The ants protect the tree from herbivores, and in return, the tree provides nectar for the ants to eat. So kind of trade-off there. It's a jungle out there, but luckily for plants, they have many defenses that help them survive.